Priyanka Chopra Jonas is definitely having a moment, and she's using that moment for good.
We're happy to welcome the actress to Better Connecticut to talk about a new initiative she's behind called Skinclusion. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
There's so much going on in your life, so I guess let's, but first of all, congratulations on your wedding. We've all enjoyed watching the pictures and the everything. What an amazing wedding. But as you could really do anything right now, and you've chosen to align with this brand. Tell us why Skinclusion is so important to you.
It's very personal to me because I feel like there's such a conversation around the need for diversity and inclusion. Everyone's talking about it. I'm sure you guys have done segments of it. But what are we really doing about it? Like, what is the change that has happened? What is the change that you see? How do we walk the talk? So when I aligned with this campaign with Obagi, what I loved about it is it's not just another company coming and talking about diversity. They've actually done something about it. And I'll tell you how. All the skin tones of the world have been reduced to 6 types. I'm at a 4 right now. And most beauty skincare products that you buy in the market have only done clinical research and testing on skin tones 1, 2, and 3. I'm not even considered. So all the products that I've spent on my entire life have never even clinically tested on my skin tone, which would react completely differently to the sun or to the environment than somebody else's would. So I love the fact that Obagi with this campaign is actually calling out the industry because they have done this for 30 years before diversity was even, the check in the box that it has become right now. They've actually walked the talk. They have done clinical research on all 6 skin types, and it is expensive. It is a lot more expensive than it would be to do it on just 3. But they've always borne the responsibility and celebrated the diversity. As a consumer of beauty products, I'm questioning the industry. I'm saying, why is my money not as important as yours? Why am I not being included in getting products that are actually catered to me? So this is by example of Obagi. We're talking about a really, really big conversation. We've become less and less inclusive as a society somehow. We're always creating these differences between ourselves, whether it's by gender, religion, ethnicity, color. And that's not the kind of world that you want to bring up your kids in. Look at the kind of violence that we read about all the time. You open up the newspapers, there's another shooting, another bombing, and that's it. And that sentiment is sort of percolating into society in a big way where we're wary of each other, we're wary of differences instead of being curious and embracive. And I think we need to call that out about ourselves. Like, what are our biases? What do I think when I meet someone who's completely different, who I don't understand? And skinclusion.com, where this entire campaign lives, has these tests that you can do, which will help you figure out what your personal biases are, completely unconscious. And every time that anyone uses hashtag Skinclusion, Obagi is donating $1 to support organizations that are actually doing so much work when it comes to diversity and inclusion around the world. We're at least talking about it here in America. There are parts of the world that it's not even a conversation or even a need or a requirement. And I feel like we as society that has evolved into understanding that this is important, if we don't make the change tangibly, then no one will. And the world's just going to get more and more violent, I feel. This is my hypothesis.
Priyanka, I know you came to, was the first time that you came to the United States back in the 10th grade when you went to school in Boston? And did you feel different at that point when you came?
I was in 9th grade when I moved to Cedar Rapids first, and from there, Iowa, and from there I moved to Boston. And it's strange, when I was in Cedar Rapids in 9th grade, I didn't even think about the fact that I was different. I had a different accent. Of course, I spoke in Indian English. But it was never weird. Somehow, I don't know what happened when I went to Boston. I was made so aware of the fact that I was different, that Indian was just unfamiliar. I was called curry, I was called brownie, I was told to go back on the elephant I came on.
Oh my God.
And I didn't, as a teenager, it just affected my self-esteem in such a big way that I, went into a shell. And I started questioning who I am and why is different bad. And I went back to India, actually, because I felt so miserable about myself. And I really had to take time in my 20s to work on my self-esteem and becoming confident. And I'm a believer of the fact that confidence is not something you're born with. You teach yourself that. So whoever you want to be is up to you.
Well, I love that. I love that. I mean, and you've done quite well, because not only have you been named most beautiful person by people, but most powerful person by Forbes. Yet you seem so normal.
Yeah, I'm confident now. I'm all right.
But I got to ask you, you have a cute little name for your cute new husband. You call him OMJ. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Why do you call him that?
Because he's an old man, Jonas.
He's an old soul.
I mean, there was so much conversation about our age gap. I think the world was really affected by the fact that I was older than him. Then I just found it so funny that the one who's older in the relationship is really old man Jonas. Like, he's one of those refined, like, you know, wisdom-giving, refined people, whereas I am like a toddler. So I just found that really, really funny, and started calling him OMJ, which is very true.
You won Miss World, and you said it changed your life in a minute. Would you recommend the pageant system for other young ladies at this time?
Well, the kind of pageant that I went to, yes, I would recommend it. The kind of pageant environment that happens in the US, no, I wouldn't, because I was Miss World. The theme of Miss World is a woman with substance. I was taught and made to focus on my oration, to be able to speak to dignitaries and heads of states, to be able to not only focus on my beauty, but focus on the substance that I have as a woman. And that was inculcated in me, whether it was Miss India or Miss World. And I feel like and that changed my life. It made me extremely confident. It made me have the ability to stand in front of millions of people and, you know, have an opinion in a second or have a witty answer in a moment. So it made me super confident because that was the environment around the pageant that I went to. And I feel like if we can create that kind of environment around a pageant, that's a female's choice.
Yeah.
What you want to do, that is exactly what feminism stands for.
Excellent.
Your choices, your decisions, your life.
Well,
it doesn't mean that what you want to do is right or wrong. You just shouldn't be judged for it.
I know you're from India, but you are certainly American royalty. Congratulations on all of your accomplishments.
Thank you so much. The only thing I would like to say is go to skinclusion.com, you know, learn more about the conversation around diversity. Use hashtag skinclusion so that Obaji can donate $1 every time you use that hashtag to organizations that are supporting diversity and inclusion. You can do so much. We as people need to be able to recognize that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Have a great day.